Good morning, everyone. My name is Farid Bell, and today I get a chance to share with you all about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that topic is called the power of personal development. And I'll share with you a little bit about my background and how I came to learn about personal development and the transformation that's come as a result of it, and why it's something that I'm passionate about sharing with everyone that I can who's looking for life change in any way. So, quick story. Has anybody ever experienced a defining moment in your life that changed completely the way you either looked at life or looked at your circumstances or maybe even changed how you see yourself? And I can remember some of those times growing up in my life. In fact, when I was a little boy, one defining moment came after a dream followed by a series of near-death experiences. How many people know that's enough to kind of alter the way you look at life a little bit? But when I was 14 years old, basically was already at a place where I knew that, and I was under the belief that I was a survivor by grace for a purpose. I knew I had some kind of purpose. I just didn't know what it was. But I started to kind of look at the clues in my life, and one day I came home and had a very significant defining moment, and that was my dad was listening to an audio tape by a gentleman by the name of Napoleon Hill. Who some of you all know for writing the book Think and Grow Rich. Some people don't know of his story, but it's a gentleman who had taken 20 years of his life, commissioned by the wealthiest man in the world at that time, to study the most successful people and find out what was it that they had in common. And he came out with a book initially called The Law of Success. So here I was, 14 years old. I had come home and my dad was listening to this audio program. And he'd been listening to things before and reading things before, but you know, they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, the teachers had been there, but I was ready for some reason. So I borrowed the tape he was listening to, and that's what started the personal development journey for me when I realized that there are laws to success. And some people don't know that, some people do, some people ignore them, some people discover them by accident, but some people have actually made a study of it and gone on to achieve great things in their lives. And so I became a student of personal development. I formed a goal for myself. The first principle he shared was a concept called definite major purpose. And he said, desire is the starting point of all achievement in life. And the people who have achieved great success in life, some of the greatest, most amazing people we've met, they have what they call a definite major purpose. And they dedicate their lives to that purpose and study and refine themselves. And to me, that's the concept of personal development. So if we were to come up with a working definition for today of what personal development is to me, I would say it's three parts. Number one, personal development is about discovering who we truly are. Number two, refining our gifts. And number three, just becoming more fruitful in every aspect of our lives, something I think most of it, all of us here, of course, that's why we're here. We're here to grow. We're here to expand. We have dreams that we're pursuing. So that was kind of my introduction to personal development. So I want to share a little bit about what personal development is, which we just talked about, why is it important, and then how we can take advantage and harness the power of personal development in our lives. So for me, it started with my first goal. When I was introduced to this concept of personal development, that I could change my life by changing the way I think, by changing what I've exposed myself to. When I heard the concept that we become the 5 people that we associate with most. Anybody heard that before? Right? In fact, one of my mentors said if you were to take the 5 people you associate with the most and looking at it from any aspect, whether it's health, if you were to combine the average of what their health is in some way, you'd probably be looking at your health. That's the power of influence, the power of association with people. Someone else said if you were to take the average of your 5 closest friends and add up their income and divide it by 5, you'd probably be looking at your income. And I thought, man, that's depressing. So I made some changes in my life. But one of the most profound phrases that I heard about personal development, or an example, and it came from a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn. And if you've never listened to Jim Rohn, I highly recommend it. I did have an opportunity in my early 20s to spend some time with the late, great Jim Rohn. And I rounded up a bunch of young people. We took a van down and sat in almost the front row at his feet and took advantage of his wisdom. And one of the things that he shared with us is that in life, it's like we're all in tiny little sailboats. Anybody ever been sailing before? Right? And he said, in life, all of us experience the winds of life that blow on us. You know, the winds of circumstances, the winds of health, the winds of, what's going on in the economy. It's the wind blowing on us. And he said, where we end up in life has nothing to do with the blowing of the wind, because the same winds blow on us all. So how is it that some people arrive at some great destinations and some people wander through life and some people are just trying to figure out their way? He said it's not the blowing of the wind, but it's the set of the sail. So even though the winds are blowing on us, there's something that we can do that we do have control over. We don't have control over the wind, but if we understand that we are in these little sailboats and we can alter the direction, the way we set the sail, then we can allow the wind to blow us toward whatever destination that we've set out to reach. Isn't that powerful? And so that describes personal development to me, because that's what it is. It's taking charge of our lives. Napoleon Hill said something I remember from 14 years old. He said that in life it's like we get two envelopes when we're born. And in one envelope, it's a list of all the things and all the rewards that we have in life for taking possession of our own mind and using it. And he said in the other envelope, it's a list of all the penalties and the things that we don't get a chance to accomplish, the price that we pay for not taking charge of our own minds and using them. So if you can imagine, as a 14-year-old kid, these concepts started really expanding the way I looked at life. And so my dream was to teach these concepts. I said, my dream, I discovered growing up in the performing arts and being an entrepreneur. I was the young kid that in high school had 5 lockers filled with snacks for sale and candy. If you haven't done that, you haven't lived if you haven't done that. In college, I lifted my bed about 6 feet off the ground, and all underneath it was inventory. That's how I paid for books. And so always the entrepreneur, but I realized early on that a part of my passion was reminding people that all of us have an entrepreneur inside, and introducing people to the concept of personal development. It's the things we don't necessarily learn in formal education. It's the things we don't necessarily learn in academic education. It's the self-education. It's what we get beyond school, beyond academics, that allows us to work on ourselves and become more than we currently are. And so my dream was to retire by 25 years old. I set this goal when I was 14. And to dedicate my life toward helping people unleash the entrepreneur inside, discover who they truly are, and find and fulfill their purpose. The only problem was I had no clue how to get there. But that's where personal development came in. I see personal development suggests that we can pick up a book that by its very title suggests that it can help. Personal development is about seeking out the information that we need. My dad used to say, if you want to learn something, it's in the books. He says, but most people won't pick up a book. There's a statistic, I don't know exactly what it is, but most people never pick up a book after high school, right? Some people after college never read another book, maybe for enjoyment or pleasure, but there's so much information out there. And so for me, when I look at personal development, I realize if there are people out there that have dedicated, 5, 10, 20 years of their lives, thousands of hours of experience in a particular field, and they've taken the time to write about it. They've taken the time to put on a seminar or put together an audio program, and it can save me 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And in one sitting, I can learn what took them years to do. To me, that's one of the greatest forms of time management that I can take advantage of. And so that's a little bit about personal development. How do you take advantage of it? How do I get started for somebody that maybe hasn't started a personal development journey? There's a few things that I've learned about. And 4 things that I'll share with you. Number 1, read. It's so powerful. Famous quote, the book you don't read can't help you. Right? How true, right? There's so many books out there. There's so many things that, I can remember before I was introduced to personal development, I was a blamer. I would think, circumstance was the reason why my life was the way it was. Or I just didn't know, or nobody taught me, or all those excuses that are out there that are comfortable, but disempowering. And I found out that blame is one of the worst enemies to our success. But successful people take personal responsibility for the outcome of their lives. And it's a powerful thing. The minute I'm able to say that, hey, nobody put a gun to my head and put me in the circumstance that I'm in. You know, the choices that I've made over the last 5 years or the choices I've made in my lifetime have all added up to where I am today in my life. And so that was depressing as well for me at first. But it was also empowering for me because at that point, when I was able to say, I am where I am today because of the choices that I've made or chose not to make, then it gave me the power to change in the future. And see, we're not animals. That's the beautiful thing. We've all been given a gift called imagination. We've been given a gift called our minds. We've been given a gift called the power of choice, which means that we don't have to follow instinct like the birds or like animals do. We can change our lives. And it was hard for me to get this into my mind, but as I saw example after example after example of people who started and had tougher circumstances than I did, but they found a way to rise above their situations and change their lives, it left me at a place where it was too obvious for me that if they can do it, I can do it as well. If they can change, I can change. And that's the gift that we all have. So that was a big aspect of learning personal development, understanding that anybody, anywhere, any place in life, any circumstances, any background, we can choose where we want to end up 5 years from now. We can start on a journey of personal development and literally change the course of our lives. We don't have to repeat the stories of the past. We don't have to repeat our family's mistakes, or we don't have to be subject to our environment. We can change. So how do you do that? So the first concept is read, the books that we read. One recommendation is 10 pages a day. And it's so powerful. There's a concept called the slight edge that I was introduced to. And the concept of the slight edge suggests that it's not just the major things that we do in life that allow us to make drastic change. Sometimes it's the simple disciplines that we do, the little things that we do that seem like they don't matter much in the beginning, but over a period of time, those small, subtle choices compound into something great. Something like reading 10 pages of a good book a day. 10 pages of a book a day, the average book, say, is about 300 pages. That's a book a month. You can change a person's life with 12 books a year. Can change anybody's life on the right subjects, you know, in the direction of our dreams, in the directions of our goals. So that's a part of the personal development concept and the slight edge. Another aspect of it is expectation. I would say as we engage in our personal development and whichever way we go about that, to expect great things to happen. You know, we tend to get what we expect out of life. Some people don't expect much and don't get much. Some people expect great things, and no matter what happens to them, it just seems like somehow the great things happen for them, right? Someone said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Either way, you know, James Allen, the book, As a Man Thinketh, right? We know that phrase, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So that's the power of embracing the power of expectation in our personal development journey. Another concept is assembly, like what we're doing here today. The power of assembly is so crucial, getting around the type of people who can help us become who we want to become, people who will encourage us in the direction that we're going in life, people who have already accomplished the things that we want to accomplish. You know, it's amazing how a lot of times where we are in life is a result of our thinking, and our thinking is a result of the people we've been around. So we become products of our environment in that sense. And so sometimes, you know, and Napoleon Hill said it well. He said the number one reason why people fail in life, those who do, is because they make decisions based on the opinions of their family, friends, and neighbors. Isn't that interesting, right? And we all love and respect our family, friends, and neighbors, but what we have to realize is sometimes the very people that we love dearly are the reason why we are where we are. They've helped us get to where we are in life, but in order for us to go to another place in life, we've got to surround ourselves and assemble with a new group of people who can take us where we want to go next, if that makes sense. So assembly is important. We want to limit our association with negative and toxic people or totally disassociate and then expand our associations with others. And the last concept is listening. So powerful, a good audio. That's what started me on my journey to personal development. listening to great voices, people who inspire, people who uplift, people who have value to share. And so those are just a few ideas in the concept of personal development. If anyone would like to discuss more, or if there's any way I can add value to anyone's life in terms of your journey, you can reach me, actually our website, bornceo.com, www.bornceo.com, and contact me. I'd love to hear your story, hear your journey, and add any value that we can. Again, Fard Bell, and I love the power of personal development. Thank you.